This is my log splitter, and what happens is this sits like on a mini trailer, if you can see. And what I want to do is grease the bearings. So I want to pull this off, grease them, because of the fact that I haven't done this in several years. And I drag this behind my truck at about 55 miles an hour. So these are really spinning hard. So let's go through the procedure here. Next thing is just take off the cap. There's the dust cap. Okay, now they all come with a cotter pin. So you just straighten that out and pull it out. The next thing, it just has a nut on here. And these are all the same. You've seen one, you've seen them all. It has a little washer. And here's the bearing. So then you just pull off the wheel. And this bearing rides right here. Alright, the inner bearing here will ride on the far side of the shaft. Okay, so what we're going to do is take these bearings and put grease on them. Okay, so we have to take this bearing off. See, so the bearing, if you can see it, sits right here, right down in there. I probably can't, but anyway, it's right here. So in order to get the bearing out of there, all I'm going to do is take my screwdriver and tap it out. Just tap that out and it comes right out. Here's the bearing, and here is the seal. See, so the bearing fits right in there like that. The seal goes right over the top. And they come out fairly easy. Alright, now we just have to get some grease and put it in there. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. I pull it with this van, and this tire is 29. This one is 15. So I take 29, just add it for 30 just to make it real easy, and take it for 15. That means this tire is going around twice as fast as this. So when I'm going 50, this is going 100. That's why it's important to grease these every so often. Okay, so I do this the old-fashioned way. Just have my regular wheel bearing grease, and I just stick it right in there, squeeze it right in. So it goes all the way around. You can feel that it's getting grease inside all the bearings because it's not as loose as it used to be, and you can see it coming out of here in the bearings. Now some people use a special tool where you just stick it in there and squeeze it and it all fills in there, but I don't. And I'll come from the back side, squeeze a little bit more in there, until it's full. See, now it just barely moves because it's got so much grease in there. Alright, that's one. Now here's the other one. I'll do the same thing. Just keep on stuffing it in there. Now some people do it in their palm of their hand, where they squeeze it in like this. I feel more comfortable by working in it with my fingers. So everyone has a little bit different way of doing it, but the whole thing, and you can see here it's starting to come out the back side. Let's see if I can put some in there. I can't, so I'll just, now it's full because it just barely moves. Alright, so there are 2 pack bearings. Okay, there's our shaft. I'll put some grease on that. Oh, then we'll go to the back side here. So let's put the tire down. And the reason, we're doing the right side because here's where the air comes in. So this is the back side. I'll just take a little bit of grease, put on the race, drop in your bearing. Here's the dust cover. I'll line that up. This one goes down real easy. I'll just tap that around. Nice and flush. And then I will install it onto the axle. Put some more grease on the race. And then I'll install the bearing right here. And then what happens is have a washer and the nut. And I will tighten this up as tight as I can get it. And then I'll back off just a touch. So as tight as you can get it, back off. It doesn't have any play. Put your cotter pin back in. And bend it over. And that keeps that in place. Now you have your dust cover. Tap that on there. And there you go. Now it's really important to grease these if this is a boat trailer, because the boat trailer goes into water. And water can get in here. And if it's salt water, it's even worse, because salt water eats everything. Alright, so let's just lower it down. Then we'll do the same thing for the other side. Alright, let us do this. Jack the wheel up. We'll do the same thing with this side. Here comes the cap. Take the cotter pin out. Take the nut off. Here comes a washer and a bearing. And the entire whole wheel comes off. Okay, since we want to get this off, let's tip it the other way, lean it against something, there it comes. Here's the bearing. Here's the bearing and the seal. Alright, so here's our two bearings. In fact, they are exactly the same. Identical bearings. Next thing, once again, take some grease and just stuff it in there and continue to go around. And as it fills up, it'll be a little bit harder to roll. Then I come to the back side and put some more in there. Just keep on squeezing it in. You'll know it's full because you can see it starting to come out of these other out of the bearings here. There's one, and here's the second one. So since it's having a little harder time rolling, I know that it's all fully packed. Okay, so now let me install it back onto the trailer. Bearing and seal. Now, I know it's the inside because of the air inlet, or the fill of tire, is on the outside. Drop that in there. And just like a flush. Gotta put some grease on the shaft. There, install the tire or wheel. Take the next bearing and put it in there. Put the washer on. Put the nut on. And then I'll tighten it as tight as I can. And then back off. Everybody has their own little different way of doing this. But this is the way I've been doing it since I've been 16. And I haven't had any problems, so it must be the right way. Or a right way. There you go, all done. That's how you take the wheels off, grease them, and put them back on. And it doesn't take that much time.